Hey, it's Mike, your host of Craft Beer Storm. How are you today? It's Monday, so we're bringing you an interview with somebody in the craft beer industry. And this week we are going to talk about Craft Beer Marketing Awards. There's a ceremony going on, and I caught up with Jim McCune, who's the founder of that. He has a load of experience, he has about 20 years experience. And they're doing some good stuff. We had a great conversation. And first, hey, if you like what we're doing, you like our podcast, go on to iTunes or whatever you're listening on and give us a rating, give us a review, subscribe. That just helps us get the word out there. There's a lot of people that don't know about craft beer and they need to be educated. And we try to bring the best to them. So please do that for me. I would appreciate it. And check out our website, www.craftbeerstorm.com. We're doing craft beer events with breweries, hotels, food and beer pairings. It's good stuff. Promote local breweries. If you're a hotel or a brewer, contact me, Michael, at craftbeerstorm.com. If you have any ideas, if you're a company, you want to do something for your employees, shoot me an email. Okay, and so I had a good conversation with Jim, and here it is. And we have Jim McCune. He's the founder of Craft Beer Marketing Awards. How are you doing, Jim?
I'm great. Thanks, Michael.
Hey, it was good to have you on. Yeah, we connected, and I see you're doing these awards. It's the first time ever, I guess, in the U.S., but maybe you can give a background about yourself and where you came from. I know you have a load of experience. You have about 20 years experience in the craft beer industry, and maybe some background, and then, you know, how this Craft Beer Marketing Awards came about. Where do you want to see it go? And maybe I'll throw it over to you.
Yeah, for sure. I've been in the industry for a little over 20 years. It was back in 1996. A couple of my buddies decided to open up a brewery. Back then, it was really unheard of. And I think there was about 530 breweries in the country back then. And, you know, they built the Blue Point Brewing Company out here on Long Island. And
oh, wow.
They got to be so big that at one point they were like the 32nd largest brewery in the country, and man, that's where I just saw the writing on the wall of like how big the industry was probably going to even get from there. So that was sort of my entrance into the business, and over the 20 years I had been to probably 100 or so beer tasting competitions, and as someone who's in beer marketing and beer design, I was always surprised that there was nobody who was really like recognizing or awarding the other side of it. You know, you got the brewers making the beer, but you also have a pretty large team of people who are designing the labels and tap handles and creating the merchandise and the websites and running the social media. And I was really surprised when I started to look that it's just never been done in the USA. I think there's one beer awards in the UK, and that's when I said, you know what, I think it's time we sit down and try to create this awards competition, and that's what we did. craftbeermarketingawards.com. It's live right now, and entries are flowing in from breweries and ad agencies and designers from all around the country.
And I got to submit my podcast. Do you have a category for podcasts?
We do. We have social media influencer, and
that'd be awesome.
People who like influence beer and run accounts that we call FOMO, fear of missing out. So we took a lot of time to make sure we created categories that really reflected the philosophy of the industry, but were also inclusive of all the different components, from bottle design and can design and packaging and, like I said, tap handles and logos and video. It's crazy.
You know, this stuff is so critical. Like you're saying, I mean, you can make an awesome beer. We were talking about this before. You can make a really great beer. If you put it in a crappy can with a bad label, like nobody's going to buy it. You know, they're going to say, what is that thing? But so you need to draw people's attention to it, especially tap handles too. I mean, there's all kinds of different tap handles.
Yeah, I mean, all these components are very important to a business, and breweries don't have, massive budgets like, big beer does. So they have to get creative, and they really have to be like authentic to their story and create stuff that's fun and interesting for their consumer. And that's really been their edge, and really has also leveled the playing field, because some of these small breweries are getting to be as big as these big guys. So that's the part that's exciting for us.
They're growing, and there's just so many different breweries. Like you say, there's 530 when you were open. Now there's like 7,500, and they're projecting like 10,000 quickly. So there's just loads of beer. Like when I go to visit Denver, I was at the Great American Beer Festival, and they took us on kind of a tour of 3 breweries. There's like 80 breweries just in Denver area. It's like silly.
And we have 67 just here on Long Island. So
in Long Island,
there's more coming, and
oh my God,
450 in New York State.
Oh, really? Man,
I know New York State has what's called the Farm Brewers License, and that's allowed breweries to really pop up and use local ingredients. And
yes.
I always say, if you like beer, you're living in the right time, because there's one on every corner.
Well, it's kind of like been retro to the way it used to be pre-prohibition. There were breweries all over the place, and in Germany, like every town has a brewery, right? So it's kind of natural, like it has to have a brewery.
People said how big can it get? And in the wine industry, you could have one tiny little town in France have 7,800 wineries. That's just one town, and that dwarfs what we have now. So you could see craft beer has a long way to go, even before it gets to the size of wine. So,
right. Yeah, I know. I mean, the wineries in the U.S. Are over, I think it's 12,000 or 14,000. I forget. I don't know. But
they're all doing fine. So.
And they're all okay. So, I mean, I think it's just gravitating towards local, and there's going to be more breweries popping up. But that being said, you're going to have more competition. So you got to get out there and differentiate yourself and your beer. And the way you do it is social media, the cans, everything. Yeah,
and that's basically why we called it the Craft Beer Marketing Awards, because marketing really encompasses all the different disciplines, from design to web development to social media management and tap handle production and beer label design and bottle design. I mean, they're so diverse, in their own right, but they all sort of link together to create the brand identification for these breweries. So we wanted to make sure that we did it right, and we actually got to work with the same trophy manufacturer in Manhattan that creates the Emmy Award and the MTV Moon Man. So we created this awesome hand that's crushing a can that's, symbolic of how craft breweries are crushing it.
I see it. It's cool. Yeah, I have a picture here. You sent me an email. They look really nice. Yeah. CBMA. So,
the judges, too. If you check out the judges' pages, I mean, that's something we're really proud of.
But now, who's going to be your judges? I didn't check that out. Like, how do you pick your judges? I know GABF has a list, like a 3-year list of judges, But how do you pick your judges? The people from the industry or marketing experts? Or how does that happen?
Yeah, it's definitely like people who would be heavily involved in the craft beer industry or in design. We even have Ralph Steadman. I mean, he's one of the most famous artists probably in the history of the world, and
wow,
he's up there. And we got Zane Lamprey, and he's an incredible beer celebrity who just launched adventure.com, which is basically this really epic beer gear. John Contino and Matt Furman, and I mean, you could scroll down this list, and it's a lot of the who's in the industry. Wow. And I think they're going to make it highly competitive, and they've obviously brought a level of authenticity to what we're doing. And just makes it that much more exciting.
Yeah, I'm seeing you have like 30 plus categories here, and you have a full plan of over 65 judges. Wow.
Yeah, no, I think it's 111 judges now. And,
oh, is it? God.
Yeah, 33 categories broken up into 10 sections. We actually have 3 different awards that we're giving away, and that's the platinum is the first place, and the gold is the second place. But we also have 5 categories that are people's choice, and we're going to let the judges basically get the list narrowed down. And then I think the last 5 will be posted with various polls on social media. Mm-hmm. So the public's actually going to choose those final winners, and they'll be awarded the elusive Black Nickel Crushy.
That's cool. And you're going to do this, I see you're going to be announcing them at the Craft Brewers Conference?
Yep.
Oh, that's awesome.
The deadline for the awards is January 31st. So we're really trying to get people to ramp up and get their entries in. And then in March, the judging will take place. We have a very sophisticated electronic scoring system where the judges use a rigid set of metrics that they'll judge each piece visually on. And there'll be a lot of redundancy, and with that amount of judges, they'll all be getting, a decent handful of entries to evaluate. And then, yeah, like you said, we're going to announce the winners during our Craft Brewers Conference Week, which is in San Antonio, Texas this year.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm going to be there. I got to get my actually, oh geez, I gotta apply for the media pass. I didn't do that.
Yeah,
I think it opened up. I got to do that. I've been asking them, but
good. Well, you'll definitely be coming to our party.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Any parties you want to have. I heard San Antonio is really nice. I haven't been there. I heard it's
it's one of the few places I haven't been to, and I mean, it looks spectacular.
Wow.
Our award ceremony is on 4/20 at a place called Smoke, which I heard is really famous in downtown San Antonio. And we're having an urban cowboy themed awards gala.
Really?
Oh, yeah. We got an incredible DJ, authentic Texas barbecue. We got a mechanical bull. And
I need to check it out.
Yeah. All you guys will be also receiving like an exclusive VIP speakeasy experience. That should be a really good time right before the gala.
Awesome. Love it. But so who do you suggest enters this competition? I guess it could be anybody, label makers, pretty much anybody. You have so many categories here.
In a lot of cases, the breweries do their marketing themselves.
Right. So
I would say in most cases, breweries are entering their work, but many breweries do have the opportunity to work with ad agencies and marketing agencies and designers, and they're all entering work as well. And because we have the social media and the web and the tap handles and the merchandise, we're really getting diverse entries from all those different areas of the business.
That's great. Wow. So what do you see? Like you're part of the craft beer industry. I mean, what do you see in terms of trends going on now? And what do you think about this? Do you think there's a bubble? I think you mentioned it before. You probably think it's just going to grow, but what do you say to people that say, yeah, it's a bubble, it's going to, burst soon?
There's a lot of tricky things we see in the industry. I mean, things like Green Flash, they were a great beer. Yeah. If you were lucky, you were able to get it out here. All of a sudden, they got national distribution. They were in every state and every shelf, and they couldn't hack it. So yeah, that's a scary thing for breweries to say, man, if I do get that big, can I make it? You had Ballast Point, who got bought for $1 billion.
Oh, They got resold for like under $100 million.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming
I don't want to laugh, but that's crazy. When I heard it for $1 billion, I'm like, would it be? I'm like, oh my God!
The company that bought it had to borrow $300 million just to get it.
Constellation,
just kind of give it away. I'm sure we're going to hear more about that story.
Jesus, yeah, they just sold it. I do craft beer news every Friday, and I read that. I'm like, what? But I don't know.
These are the things that keep us up at night because, those are the things that are shaky. And then, just 2 or 3 years now of mergers and acquisitions. And I think things are settling down. And I think people are getting, like you mentioned before, acclimated to this hyper-local locavore economy where there's enough breweries right up the block. I don't even need to go to the cooler. So there's a big shift in the paradigm of the on-site, on-premise sales and how well tap rooms are doing.
Yeah, I mean, the on-site sales, and there's a shift to local, and that's where the margin is. You got to sell it out of your tap room, and that's the way you make a business work. I mean, when you start with, if you're a smaller brewery and you start with distribution and getting a distributor, forget it. Then you have to deal with them, and then they don't want they try to sell the beer, and then they say, I can't sell it. And then you're like, well, we have an agreement. And then you lock in with them. Like, it's tough to
That's not even the case anymore. And it's what I think will be the next trend is what I think Washington State just did. And they abolished 3-tier.
Really?
That's been around since Prohibition.
I didn't even know
so, that. Yeah. So I think if that becomes more of a trend that, we're going to see a lot more freedom in what these breweries can do. And there's things like Tavour.com, which is a great place to buy beer online. And I know small breweries who are being able to get rid of a lot of beer on that service. And also, I guess, getting purchased by people from really around the world.
Wow.
So, lots of cool things. I think all point to just more growth.
Yeah. I mean, I think it is an online and, Amazon buying Whole Foods. I just got to wait to see what happens with that. They can deliver food. I guess they can deliver beer. I don't know.
Yeah, I heard they're brewing their own beer, but I also heard that they got rid of their local store-by-store beer aggregators. So I think a lot of the stores had their own person who was focused on what local beers got onto those shelves. So hopefully they keep that as a focus, and I'm sure they will, because even my local Stop and Shop now has one of the biggest beer selections I've ever seen. So,
oh, really?
I think they're finally evolving towards.
There are,
guys.
Yeah, the larger
There's a craft beer revolution going on.
Yes,
Were
the
you
larger,
part of it or not?
There's Hannaford here up in New England, and it's huge. They have stores all over the place, and they have like local. They have this like aisle called local, or they have these sections of the store just as local, because they know people buy local and they have local beer, which is great. Along with the other products.
The biggest growth I think we're seeing in the beer industry is the brew pubs, and they're gonna sell 75% of their beer over the counter, and it's a perfect model for them. And
oh yeah, it's perfect. And that's what we're about. We're all about local, and and it's breweries are a tough business. I have my brewery here. We're in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. I'm originally from New York, actually, from Westchester County.
Oh,
so
cool.
I know Long Island. I worked in Massapequa.
Right.
I worked at a accounting firm out in Massapequa.
Oh, okay. Very close to
yeah, I'm a CPA. I work for Deloitte and work for an accounting firm out there, so I know Long Island. And I got friends in Long Island, too. But I have the brewery up here, but I'm looking to sell it because it's small, and I've done what I had to do. I built my brand, and in case you know anybody, send them up here.
Yeah,
this is perfect. It's a turnkey
nice
brewery. It's a beautiful, if somebody wants to retire and do it, and or just a couple guys want to get together, we're looking to sell it. So
I took a stab at brewing, and I'll leave that to the pros. Maybe beer labels or something, I could help them with that.
Beer labels, yes.
It's not easy. I give them a lot of credit.
No, it's not easy. No, but it's a passion. You have to have a passion for it. So, and I love it. So I love beer, and I love making beer. It's cool. But
that's awesome. We love it too.
Yeah. So Hey, that's awesome. So if people want to sign up for this or get more information, how do they do it? I guess it's craftbeermarketingawards.com.
Yep, that's it. Check it out. Like I said, entry deadline's January 31st, 33 categories. Got a really cool award ceremony coming up. We were really fortunate this year to get a presenting sponsor with Hillebrand, which is a big global company, heavily involved in the craft beer and wine world. So with their help and guidance, we've been able to really spread this thing out and get the party going out in Texas and get to meet a bunch of new people. And that's really what this whole thing is about. And
exciting.
It's just about getting the people who do the other side of the beer the recognition that they deserve as well. And if this thing does well, it'll be sustainable. And I think next year we're going to go international. So it'll be a global competition. Wow. And we're probably going to include spirits just because that's so prevalent in the industry now.
Well, everything, like the hard seltzer and, there's all kinds of stuff, cannabis-infused ales and...
Oh, I love it.
There's all kinds of stuff going on, and when I do the news, just these things keep popping up, and I keep talking about them because it's just more and more popular, That's just beer.
Sometimes I wake up in the morning and I'm like, man, am I the luckiest dude in the world? I'm in the craft beer industry, and it's on fire. And, there's so many good things to taste.
It is. There's just a lot of stuff going on.
As big as it's got, it's still 99% asshole free. So that's the part I love.
It's cool. All right, Jim, I appreciate your time to come on the podcast. And
thank you.
I will see you. If I don't see you in Long Island, we have to have a beer together. I'm in New York.
Please come down.
And we're gonna grab a beer. But we'll see you in San Antonio too. All right, Jim.
Looking forward to it.
Thank you. Take care.
Have a great night, Michael.
Oh, you too. Yeah, it was Jim McCune. He was the founder of Craft Beer Marketing Awards. And you can check him out at www.craftbeermarketingawards.com. The statues that they're giving out look awesome. Really cool. Website's pretty cool. Very professional. And got a lot of sponsors, and he's going to be doing the ceremony in San Antonio at the Craft Brewers Conference, which is awesome. I will be there if you should go. If you're a brewer, or if you care about craft beer or craft beer industry, great event, Craft Brewers Conference. Just got my media pass confirmed, which is cool. So that's what we have for you this week. This is Craft Beer Storm. Give us a rating, give us a review, tell a friend, tell 10 friends. Get those downloads going. Subscribe. It's very important. Subscribe. It comes right to you. You don't have to worry about it. All right, that's our show for today. And we will talk to you Wednesday with Beer Styles. Take care.